Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really getting into the works of Wallace D. Wattles. You might know him from the science of getting rich, or maybe the science of being great, early 20th century stuff, but powerful. And look, we know why you're here. You're looking for a real, practical way to improve, to unlock potential. So that's our mission today. We're pulling out a framework from these writings, a kind of blueprint, 4 stages really for moving your life forward, starting with your mind and linking it straight to action.
Right. And it's important to see this not just as like old school self-help. Wattles presented a very systematic, certain way. It demands that your thinking and your doing are totally aligned. So we're structuring it like this. First, the mental foundation, what he calls idealization. Second, how you energize that vision, mainly through faith and gratitude. Third, taking aligned action out there in the real world. And finally, the highest level, consecration and adopting what he terms the social point of view.
Okay, great. Let's unpack this. But maybe before we even get to the ideal, we need to hit that core idea, the one that kind of underpins everything and maybe challenges our limiting beliefs most directly.
Absolutely. It all starts with this monistic principle. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made.
Thinking stuff.
Yeah, a formless substance. It permeates everything, the whole universe, and it creates things by, well, taking the form of its thoughts. If you buy into that one source for everything, then ideas like scarcity, like competition, they start to dissolve.
So if this substance is one, it's infinite, it thinks, and we come from it, does that mean we're like little pockets of that thinking power?
That's exactly it. You are a thinking center. You can originate thought, and you can impress that thought onto this universal substance.
Okay.
And here's where it gets really practical for you listening. If you're worried about talent or opportunity or whether you can actually do something, the sources basically say, don't worry about that.
Why not?
Because the simple fact that you desire something is proof. Proof that the power to achieve it is there.
Okay, hold on. This is where it gets really interesting, right? Because I might want to, say, launch a business or master some complex skill, maybe become a leader. But I doubt myself. I think, do I have what it takes?
Are you saying the wanting itself proves the ability is already inside me, just waiting?
That's the core teaching, yes.
Yeah.
Desire is just a faculty looking for a way out, for expression. You want to sing. That's the music faculty in you wanting to express itself, want to organize things. That's the manager in you pushing outwards. You literally cannot desire something that isn't, essentially and potentially, already within you. The only real limit is your own belief about whether it can be expressed.
Wow. Okay, so that leads us right into step 1 of our framework. Idealization. This is the foundational work, you said.
It is, and it's hard work. You need to form a really clear, really definite mental picture, like a thought form. What do you want to be? Think about your person, your stuff, your environment. Get specific.
And you hold this picture. You hold it as truth. Absolute truth. Doesn't matter what your bank account says or what your health feels like or your social standing right now. You hold the ideal firm.
Wattles says this is probably the hardest work in the world.
I can believe it. Because you're constantly pushing against what seems real, what your senses are telling you. But what makes it hard to even form that thought picture in the first place? You mentioned the competitive mindset earlier.
Yes. That's the big catch. This whole system, this certain way, it only functions if you're operating from the creative mind.
Not the competitive mind.
Not the competitive mind. The competitive mind thinks supply is limited. It sees everyone else as a rival. It's about getting power over others. It's based on fear.
And fear.
Fear is fatal to your hopes. It instantly poisons your thought form, weakens its creative power.
Okay, let's make this practical. Think about a modern workplace. We're often competing, right? For promotions, clients, market share. If I'm trying to land a big contract, how does the creative mind approach it differently? Good question. The competitive person focuses on winning the deal. Maybe by making sure the other side gets less, or by cutting corners. They see their gain as potentially the client's loss.
Right.
The creative mind, though, is tuned into the purpose of all, which is always more life, more abundance. So they approach that deal aiming to create a net increase of life for the client and for themselves, too. Their success has to contribute to more life for everyone involved. It's about actually creating new value, not just fighting over existing resources.
That's a huge mental shift. Okay. So we've got the clear ideal. We're committed to this creative, non-competitive approach. Now, how do we energize that mental picture? Give it some, actual power.
Right. Now we move into segment 2, the mental engine, which is faith and gratitude. The sources are clear. The real power, the potency of your thought comes from the faith that is in it. A weak thought, one you don't really believe in. Useless.
This feels like the tricky part. It's easy to say you have faith in, I don't know, becoming wealthy.
Hmm.
But if your bank balance is screaming broke, how do you stop reality from just crushing that thought?
That's the discipline, isn't it? Wattles really hammers this home. If you're thinking health, but your deep habitual thoughts, the ones carrying your actual faith, are about sickness or limitation, well, the negative thought wins. It controls things. Faith is what keeps your mind locked onto the right way, making only positive, powerful impressions on that substance. It's not just words. It's the deep down conviction behind the thought.
So faith is the fuel. And the best tool for keeping that fuel flowing, for maintaining it, is gratitude.
Gratitude is incredibly powerful here, psychologically, spiritually. It works in two ways. First, it boosts your own faith. You start with expectation, maybe, but sincerely thanking turns that expectation into solid belief. And second, it connects you. It puts you in harmonious relationship with the supreme intelligence, the source of everything. A grateful mind is always looking towards the source, always open to receive more.
The practical advice here is really specific, isn't it? Be grateful for the good you already have continuously. And this is key. Sincerely thank the intelligence for the things you currently only possess in your imagination, in that ideal picture.
Exactly. It's like you said earlier, it's a kind of conditioning. It forces your mind away from focusing on lack or the ordinary. If you constantly fix your attention on the best, on the ideal, on that future reality you've pictured, you stop dwelling on the common, the inferior. It's an active, ongoing mental refinement. Keep your inner state aligned with your goal.
Okay, so we've built the inner world. Idealization, powered up by faith and gratitude. Now, the bridge to the outside world. Segment 3, action. What does acting in the certain way look like when you're stuck in your current, maybe less than ideal situation?
This brings us to the evolutionary principle of success. The core idea is advancement happens when you more than fill your present place.
More than fill your place.
Think about nature. Evolution doesn't happen from the weak or imperfect examples. It builds on the strongest, the most fully developed specimens. Progress comes from exceeding the current standard.
So it's not about some huge sudden jump necessarily, but about maximizing what you're doing right where you are.
Precisely. The steps are quite methodical. First, do whatever you're doing now, perfectly. Master your current role. Second, add to it. Start using faculties or skills that aren't required by the current job description. It's this excess capacity, this part of you that kind of projects beyond the boundaries of your present place, that grabs hold of the next level, the higher position you desire. The universe rewards growth and expansion.
But let's go back to that common frustration.
Yeah.
Lots of people work incredibly hard, right? They do overtime, take on extra projects, do way more than they're paid for, but they stay stuck. What's the difference between just working hard and this advancing kind of effort?
The crucial distinction is the advancing thought, just doing more work, purposelessly. That leads to burnout, not advancement. You have to more than fill your present place, FOR, the specific purpose of becoming what you want to be.
Ah,
Every action you take needs to be consciously, efficiently aimed at that definite mental picture you built back in segment 1. It's deliberate practice toward your ideal, not just frantic activity.
and efficiency matters, not just volume, but the quality, the effectiveness of each action.
Absolutely fundamental. Every single efficient act is a success in itself. And if every separate action you perform is efficient and directed towards your ideal, your whole life has to become a success. It's cumulative. And crucially, this efficient action still has to be non-competitive.
Right. Let's get specific on that again. How do I make sure my drive, my efficiency, isn't just taking something from someone else?
You ensure every transaction reflects that advancing thought, which means, in practical terms, give every single person more in use value than you receive from them in cash value.
Use value versus cash value.
Think of any exchange as a trade of life force, essentially. If you sell something, a product or a service, for $100, the actual benefit the other person gets from it should be worth significantly more than $100 to them. By consistently adding more value than you take in monetary terms, you guarantee that your success also contributes to the wealth and life of others. You're increasing life for them while you increase life for yourself.
That really does guarantee a win-win. It makes success naturally benevolent and self-multiplying. Okay, so the action takeaway is, act now, use your current environment, don't complain about it, use it as the raw material to build the next better environment, and focus relentlessly on the efficient, value-adding execution of each task, always holding your ideal in mind.
Exactly. You're leveraging your present reality to propel yourself forward, knowing the universe supports efficient, value-adding action aligned with that forward-moving purpose.
Okay, this framework feels solid. We've gone from thought to attitude to physical action. What's the final piece? The highest level, the thing that anchors this whole process.
That takes us to segment 4, consecration and adopting the social point of view. To reach genuine greatness, the sources say, requires obedience to the soul, to your inner light.
Obedience to the soul.
Yes, reason, intellect, they're not enough on their own. Why? Because they can serve selfish goals just as easily as unselfish ones. Your soul, that deepest part of you, has to be in charge.
In today's language, that sounds like living with absolute integrity. From your core values, not just what seems logical or self-serving at the moment.
That's definitely a practical result. Wattles actually gives a formula for this act of consecration. It's, I surrender my body to be ruled by my mind, I surrender my mind to be governed by my soul, and I surrender my soul to the guidance of God. It's about aligning everything under the highest principle.
And this commitment, this consecration, it leads directly to this social point of view. What does that mean exactly?
It means shifting how you see the world. Instead of seeing it as broken, flawed, decaying, something we constantly need to fix, you see it as perfect, though not completed.
Perfect, but not finished.
Yes, it's a profoundly optimistic view. We're not fighting against decay, we're participants in completing an unfinished masterpiece. You start to recognize that everything, even things that look like problems now, social issues, economic struggles, political conflicts, are actually part of a forward evolutionary movement. They are perfect after their kind for the current stage of development.
Wow. Adopting that view must completely change how you deal with other people. If the world isn't broken, just unfinished.
Exactly. You lose all desire to find fault with people, to judge them, criticize them, or condemn them. Why would you?
Right.
Destructive criticism just vanishes. You start seeing yourself as, in his words, a god among gods, realizing every single person, regardless of where they are right now, is part of this grand process of increase. You treat everyone high or low with genuine consideration. There's no room for boasting or wanting to rule over others. Real greatness lies in contributing to the advance of life for all.
What a complete system. It really ties together the sort of mystical philosophy with very practical ethics and mental discipline. And the claim is that it's certain.
The certainty is crucial for you to grasp. Wattles insists the law of the increase of life is as mathematically certain in its operation as the law of gravitation. Getting rich, or achieving greatness, or advancing life, it's presented as an exact science. Your success is basically guaranteed if you maintain the faith, hold the clear purpose, the idealization, and consistently take that efficient, non-competitive, value-adding action. It's a formula designed for growth for you and through you for everyone else.
Okay, so let's leave you with a final thought to explore, something that connects this personal framework to the bigger picture. Wattles states, life cannot be advanced by changing systems, but systems may be changed by the advance of life. This suggests individual growth comes first and systemic change follows. So here's the question for you. If every single person you interact with started intensely focusing on advancing their own life, using this certain way, idealization, faith, gratitude, efficient action, consecration, the whole package, what specific system or circumstance, maybe in your workplace, your community, or even wider society, do you think would be the first to change? What would yield first under that collective pressure for more life and greater value? Think about the ripple effects if everyone genuinely started creating more value than they consumed.